Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy with my crazy hair here to bring you your December 2019 mid-month general readings. We are looking at the last half of December, and this reading is for the air sign of Gemini, our beautiful twins. Welcome to everyone. Welcome to newcomers. Welcome back, followers and subscribers. Thank you so much for all your support and feedback and for continuing to follow my channel for those of you who do. So I hope everyone is having a wonderful holiday season. So this reading is to explore what the last half of December potentially has in store for our twins, Gemini Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or if you are cross-watching for Gemini as well. Many of you know general readings always resonate a little differently for everyone, so watch your other signs in their videos if you know them and if you can, because that can be more helpful, provide additional clarification. If any of you are interested in a personal reading with me, you can click on the description link below for more info and contact details, excuse me, or email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to work with you. This is a great gift-giving time of the year as well, and personal readings are personal, so they make lovely gifts for friends, family, and loved ones. I do offer a wide variety of readings in all the main areas of life. And particularly popular also this time of the year are the 6 and 12-month overviews that I offer, which explores what's coming in your life over the next 6 or 12 months, depending on how far ahead you want to look. And while you can order them, and people do at any time of the year, I always get a lot of requests for them at this time of the year as we are transitioning out of one year and into the next. So if you're interested in any of that, just send me an email and I'd be happy to set something up for you. I can usually respond to initial inquiries with more info within the same day or the first 24 hours. Okay, Gemini. Let's see what the last half of December has in store for you. We begin with the 6 of Pentacles, followed by the 10 of Swords, the Hanging Man, followed by the Page of Pentacles. From the bottom of the deck, overall energy for the last half of December is the Moon. Gemini, your reading is almost eerily similar to your sister air sign, Aquarius, so you may want to hop to that video and watch that as well. I mean, it's very, very similar. Your overall energy for the last half of December is the Moon, which basically can represent not knowing. I mean, the Moon can represent a lack of clarity, confusion, uncertainty, hidden fears, perhaps fears that are not all that realistic, meaning that, okay, the sun sheds light. The sun in the tarot illuminates everything. It sheds light, it banishes darkness, it uplifts energy. The moon sheds light too when it's out, but it's a different kind of light. It's a thin, kind of watery light most of the time. And there's a lot of hidden corners and shadowy nooks. And that, you know, one of the analogies I use for unrealistic fears in regards to the moon are deep-seated fears, or, you know, that gnarly old tree that sits in your backyard under the light of day. You see it as this kind of cool-looking gnarly old tree, but if you go out there at night under the light of the moon, particularly if it's not the light of a full moon, on a clear night, you know, that tree can look like a big bear or a monster or something out of the ordinary, when in reality it's not. So this can represent deep-seated hidden fears coming out, or, you know, fears of what might be, but definitely a lack of, you know, certainty or confusion, but something kind of stirring in you as well, because the moon can represent the deepest and most primal part of our spiritual intuition or our spiritual gut instinct. So there's all that kind of swirling around for you during the last half of December. Never I mean, it's at best an uncomfortable place to be, and of course during the holiday seasons can be even more so for some of you. But of course this is a general reading, so the intensity is going to vary depending on what's going on in your life. So we have the 6 of Pentacles. So what is this all about? This lack of clarity or confusion or fear, or these stirrings you're having. Perhaps your subconscious or your psychic intuition is trying to tell you something as well. So we have the 6 of Pentacles and the 10 of Swords. 6 of Pentacles unhealthy energy, this represents mutual beneficence, meaning equal giving, equal receiving. But this card can be often, and for some reason it's coming up with this energy a lot lately, it can often be referred to as the crumb card, meaning it can represent being the giver or the recipient of a gift, but it can also represent that you're only being given crumbs, or you're only being given what you need, just enough to keep you there or keep you invested. You know, for example, this could represent you being in a relationship where you are devoting and giving quite a bit, but you're only getting back just enough from your partner to keep you kind of there and keep you invested, but it's not an even balance. It can represent that perhaps, and also in a way it kind of may make you feel, particularly in a relationship or a situation, could be a job situation as well, that you're not seen as being all that relevant, because while this appears that this man is being very generous or philanthropic as he's weighing his wealth out, or what makes, you know, him feel safe and stable, you know, pentacles could be money or material wealth or something of that sort. He's not really looking at who he's throwing them out the window to. He's just kind of tossing them out there to these waiting, grasping hands, which don't even have a face attached. And sometimes this card, Gemini, can represent, you know, being in a relationship, whether it's love and romance or a friend or even a work or job situation or a project where you're investing an awful lot, but you're not really getting back enough. You're getting back the emotional, spiritual, or, you know, relationship or work equivalent of the starvation diet. It's enough to keep you from keeling over, but it's not enough to make you feel whole and healthy and nurtured and loved. So it can represent just getting crumbs, just getting enough for the other person or the other side to kind of keep you there and invested. And there's this real sense of betrayal that accompanies this, because the Six of Pentacles is clarified by the Ten of Swords, which is the betrayal card, stabbed in the back, or feeling seriously let down and disappointed by somebody. Again, a sense of betrayal. The positive aspect of the Ten of Swords is that tends to represent the completion of cycles or culmination of something in the tarot. So while it appears that whatever put this person face down, likely you, but for some of you it could be, you could be on the other side of this story. Perhaps you haven't been, you know, giving an equitable amount, and you're just beginning to realize how much it's affected the other person. But usually when it's resonating for people on the other side of the story, it's a smaller group of people. For many of you, you're the one kind of feeling this sort of sense of betrayal. But there is a healing light shining through these swords. It is time to kind of get up and brush yourself off. The Ten of Swords represents that whatever very challenging looking thing puts you face down on the ground, it's done, it's over. It's time to get up and start looking around, brushing yourself off. You can see that the sun is rising, a new day is dawning, and the animals are beginning to return to the scene. These are all good signs of the beginning of a healing or a restoration process. But I feel like you're not really sure what to do here. And again, this is very, you really should watch the Aquarius video, because it's very, very similar. Some of you may be, in fact, be involved with an Aquarius, or it just may be, you know, a connective tissue in the air signs. Because there's this lack of, I don't know what to do about it. For some of you, because the moon can represent a lack of clarity, and we have the Ten of Swords clarifying the Six of Pentacles, some of you, it may be that you are experiencing a real deep sense of letdown or disappointment by a person or a situation that you feel you've been giving to, but you're not actually getting back. You don't understand it, and you're feeling very let down and very, very disappointed, and you're not sure what the situation is. Perhaps some of you are in a relationship with someone where you feel there is less and less attention, or you're getting less and less from the person, and you're wondering if perhaps they're seeing somebody else, or, you know, there may be this sort of uncomfortable, uneasy feeling that there might be a betrayal at the bottom of this, but you don't exactly know just yet. It may be that for some of you. There's no real, I don't get a sense of action being taken here, just like with the Aquarius video. I don't get the sense of action being taken here. And I'm not sure if during this time period it's wise to take action yet, because things are still kind of playing out, and I don't think you have all the information yet. because we have the Hanging Man clarified by the Page of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles kind of hangs there because he's watching things play out, and he's waiting to see how things play out. He doesn't have all the information yet, and he understands that. So while he may be tempted to kind of rush in there and do something, say something, and act, he doesn't, because he's watching to see how things play out. And it can be not the most comfortable situation, but he understands that it's temporary, it's transitional, and it's necessary. It's kind of like making a small sacrifice now for greater gains later on. But it's a card of not taking action because you're watching and waiting to see how things play out. There's a sense of not knowing everything just yet either. So it's never a good idea to rush in and make a choice or take action on something if you don't have as much information as you need to have. So what clarifies the Hanging Man is the Page of Pentacles, which would represent being at the beginning of a path of understanding and awareness of how something is actually going to come together in a very practical sort of way. Pages can represent young people or children, messages, being at the introductory phase of something. You've studied, you've learned, and now you're getting ready to kind of put it into practical application. So the Page of Pentacles is just starting to come to a deeper understanding and awareness of what it actually takes to make something work, or how a path is actually going to be. So it's clarifying this Hanging Man. So again, it's kind of underscoring the message that you're kind of, there's this watching, waiting sense, and you're not really quite sure of everything that's going on, and you're not really quite sure of what to do about it just yet. Some of you, this might not be a relationship oriented in terms of love and romance, or even a friend. Some of you, this might be a job or work situation where you have been waiting for perhaps a wage increase, a raise, a promotion, a bonus, a different job or job title or something, and you're waiting and waiting and waiting, and it's not forthcoming, and some of you may feel that you've been lied to, or you're just beginning to become aware that this is just kind of how it works at this place. And it's giving you this sense of uneasiness. Let's see what the higher message is here. We have the Ace of Swords followed by the Five of Swords. Lots of mental, cerebral, intellectual energy, which is air energy, which governs the Suit of Swords, which is your energy. So the Ace of Swords came out first. This is the sword of truth that comes in, and it cuts through any extraneous fantasy, illusion, lies, feelings, emotions, and it exposes and illuminates. It gives a new perspective, or shines the light on something you haven't seen or seen in a certain way before. The epiphany, the light bulb going off on your head. This brings illumination and clarity and information, which also presents you with the opportunity to create a more healthy reality. Because whether this is like a love romance, a friend, a project, a job, again, very similar to Aquarius, it looks like there is an unhealthy imbalance in the level of time and effort and possibly love or relevance in this situation, whether it's work or whether it's personal. You're not being given back to the way that you should be. And the Ace of Swords comes in and clearly reveals that in a way that cannot be denied, which gives you an opportunity to take action, which means that it gives you an opportunity to create a more healthy reality, whether that's, searching for another job that will appreciate and compensate you for your talent and your skills more, or perhaps setting boundaries at work to see if they do that there, or something equivalent within a personal relationship as well. Spirit is saying they are bringing in an opportunity. They were bringing it in there's going to be an illumination and a clarity in this situation, because it sounds like you're lacking some clarity and perhaps some information, but it is coming in, and it's going to expose and illuminate whatever the reality of this is, to banish away kind of the cobwebs and all the shadowy corners and hidden nooks, and say, okay, this is what it is. Now, the accompanying clarifying card to the Ace of Swords is the Five of Swords, which technically represents a victory, although it may not feel like one at the time. You can see that this man has just finished a battle, a challenge of some kind. He's gathered up all his opponent's weapons, meaning he has taken away their ability to hurt him, and he's holding his own aloft in victory. But this has not been an easy battle. He looks tired, worn out, exhausted. He's bleeding from a little cut on his forehead. The colors are very murky. You know, this fight has taken a lot out of him, and even though he's won, it probably doesn't feel very victorious at the time. And the people, you know, I mean, he's just tired. He just wants to go home and be done with this. And sometimes the people on the ground behind him or her can represent that. Victory represents you free yourself from a situation or a relationship where you are being taken from or exploited or taken advantage of. But at the time it can hurt. I mean, for example, this can represent, you know, breaking up with someone or ending a relationship or situation or partnership with someone, you know, where the balance of time and effort and energy has been not balanced. And in order to free yourself from that, you need to leave them or separate or set like very clear, strict boundaries, which at the time can be very challenging, painful, you know, hurtful, etc. So while it represents a victory in that it puts you on a healthier path, it may not feel like one at the time. But that's what this truth coming in does. It presents you with an opportunity to make a choice to put yourself on a track that's much healthier, particularly if you're involved in a relationship, whether it's love and romance, family, friends, work situation, where it looks like you're being taken advantage of, basically. So Gemini, that is your reading for the last half of December. I hope that it gave you some helpful insight or feedback. Again, if any of you are interested in reaching out for a personal one-on-one reading with me, particularly if any of these videos resonate for you, just click on the description link below. Email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you. I do readings full-time. It's all that I do and all that I love to do. So I'm pretty diligent at working with everyone's schedules to get readings out in as timely a fashion as possible. And I can usually respond to the initial request for information within the same day or the first 24 hours. So email me and we'll go from there. I'll see you all again in a couple of weeks for the January 2020 general readings, first readings of the year. In the meantime, I hope all of you have a wonderful, blessed, and peaceful holiday season. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And I hope to see you back here again quite soon. Take care. Bye-bye.